Hello, Basin Bison. This is Mr. Gary Arnelson again, with you to go with this week's Basin Bite, we'll call it. This week, or the next couple of weeks, we're talking about perseverance. What does that word mean? It means to endure. It means to hang in there. It means, as a bison, to face the storm and move through the storm. I would like to illustrate this with three examples. The first being a fable, Aesop's fable called The Tortoise and the Hare. One day a hare was bragging about how fast he could run. He bragged and bragged and even laughed at the tortoise, which was so slow. The tortoise stretched out his long neck and challenged the hare to a race, which of course made the hare laugh. My, what a joke, thought the hare. A race indeed, a race, oh what fun. Oh my, a race of course, Mr. Tortoise. We shall race, said the hare. The forest animals met and mapped out the course. The race began, and the hare, being such a swift runner, soon left the tortoise far behind. About halfway through the course, it occurred to the hare that he had plenty of time to beat the slow-trodden tortoise. Oh my, thought the hare. I have plenty of time to play in the meadow here. And so he did. After the hare finished playing, he decided that he had time to take a little nap. I have plenty of time to beat that tortoise, he thought, and he cuddled up against a tree and dozed. The tortoise, in the meantime, continued to plod on, albeit ever so slowly. He never stopped, but took one good step after another. The hare finally woke up from his nap. Time to get going, he thought. And off he went, faster than he'd ever run before. He dashed so quickly as anyone could ever to the finish line, where he met the tortoise, who was patiently awaiting his arrival. Well, what about that fable? What about the tortoise and the hare? Are you a tortoise? Or are you a hare in this one? Well, we need to endure. We need to hang in there. We need to just keep trying. Don't give up. Get to the finish line. You can do this. You've got this. If you're having a hard time with a class, say you got an F or you're behind or whatever, just like the tortoise, keep plodding along. Keep making sure that you finish. Basin Bison, the second illustration I'd like to give you, comes from a gentleman in Utah. His name is James Lawrence. He's called the Iron Cowboy, and in his book Iron Cowboy, Redefine Impossible, he states that he each day would swim 2.4 miles, bike 112 miles, and run 26.2 miles. He would do this triathlon, this Ironman triathlon, 50 of them, in 50 states in 50 days. He began his journey June 6, 2015, on the island of Kauai in Hawaii, and he concluded on July 25, 2015 at 8:05 p.m. in Provo. Can you even imagine swimming 2.4 miles, biking 112 miles, and running 26.2 miles every day for 50 days in 50 states? He states that this journey, in completion, he totaled 96,980 swim strokes, 1,265,537 pedal revolutions, and over 2 million running strides. Not to mention 12,610 vehicular and air travel miles. Once he finished the race, he had an opportunity to talk to the students at Sharon Elementary in Orem, that he rode his bike from that present location in Orem to the Idaho border, describing the number of miles or meters he went each day. That was just on his bike. Can you imagine biking from Orem clear to the Idaho border each day? That was just one part of the triathlon. He did this while taking his wife and his 5 children with him. On day 36, he mentions this: "It doesn't make a difference if we make it or not. Before tonight, these words had never meant anything to me. Does it make a difference? Does it matter if we reach our goals, or is it simply about the journey? Regardless of the victory, I would not have started this journey had I not intended to finish. However, I choose both, the journey and a finish. Think about that in your classrooms. You've started the journey. Now plan to finish the journey. Take it step by step. This semester, this class, then eventually graduation. He goes on to say, I will conquer my goals, enjoy the journey along the way with my greatest treasure, my family by my side. Basin, you can do this. You got this. Hang in there. Persevere, endure, face the storm, move through the storm. The third illustration I'd like to share with you is a poem that is one of my favorites called The Race by Dr. D.H. D. Groberg. I'll go ahead and share that with you now. Whenever I start to hang my head in front of failure's face, my downward fall is broken by the memory of a race. A children's race, young boys, young men, how I remember well. Excitement sure, but also fear. It wasn't hard to tell. They all lined up so full of hope, each thought to win that race, or tie for first, or if not that, at least take second place. Their parents watched from off the side, each cheering for their son, and each boy hoped to show his folks that he would be the one. The whistle blew, and off they flew like chariots of fire. To win, to be the hero there was each young boy's desire. One boy in particular, whose dad was in the crowd, was running in the lead and thought, my dad will be so proud. But as he speeded down the field and crossed a shallow dip, the little boy who thought he'd win lost his step and slipped. Trying hard to catch himself, his arms flew every place, and amidst the laughter of the crowd, he fell flat on his face. As he fell, his hope fell too. He couldn't win it now. Humiliated, he just wished to disappear somehow. But as he fell, his dad stood up and showed his anxious face, which to the boy so clearly said, get up and win that race. He quickly rose, no damage done, behind a bit that's all, and ran with all his might and mind to make up for his fall. So anxious to restore himself, to catch up and to win, his mind went faster than his legs. He slipped and fell again. He wished that he had quit before with only one disgrace. I'm hopeless as a runner now. I shouldn't try to race. But through the laughing crowd he searched and found his father's face with a steady look that said again, get up and win that race. So he jumped up to try again, 10 yards behind the last. If I'm to gain those yards, he thought, I've got to run real fast. Exceeding everything he had, he regained 8, then 10, but trying hard to catch the lead, he slipped and fell again. Defeat. He lay there silently, a tear dropped from his eye. There's no sense running anymore. 3 strikes, I'm out, why try? I've lost, so what's the use, he thought. I'll live with my disgrace. But then he thought about his dad, who soon he'd have to face. Get up, an echo sounded low. You haven't lost at all. For all you have to do to win is to rise each time you fall. Get up, the echo urged him on. Get up and take your place. You were not meant for failure here. Get up and win that race. So up he rose to run once more, refusing to forfeit. And as he resolved that win or lose, at least he wouldn't quit. So far behind the others now, the most he'd ever been. Still he gave it all he had, and he ran like he would win. 3 times he'd fallen stumbling. 3 times he rose again. Too far behind to hope to win, he still ran to the end. They cheered another boy who crossed the line and won first place. Head high and proud and happy, no falling, no disgrace. But when the fallen youngster crossed the line in last place, the crowd gave him a greater cheer for finishing the race. And even though he came in last with head bowed low and proud, you would have thought he'd won the race to listen to the crowd. And to his dad he sadly said, I didn't do so well. To me you won, his father said. You rose each time you fell. And now when things seem dark and bleak and difficult to face, the memory of that little boy helps me in my own race. For all of life is like the race, with ups and downs and all. And all you have to do to win is to rise each time you fall. And when depression and despair shout loudly in my face, another voice within me says, get up and win that race. So Basin, get up and win that race. Persevere, endure, hang in there, Face the storm. Move through the storm. You can do this. You've got this. Thank you.